Princess Lyra stood by the large window of her spaceship, the Celestial Whisper. She looked down at the blue planet called Earth. Her silver skin glowed softly in the dim light of the command room. Small dots of light moved across her arms and face, showing her deep thoughts. "Your Highness, we will reach Earth's orbit in 1 hour," said Captain Nera, bowing slightly. Lyra nodded but didn't turn around. Earth was just a small dot growing bigger as they got closer, but it made her heart beat faster. Somewhere on that planet was the mysterious warrior known as the Phantom. This human fighter had somehow stopped the Void Horde attacks, when even the best Stellarian soldiers could not. "Show me the reports again," Lyra said. A screen appeared in the air. It showed videos of a figure in strange armor. The armor seemed to shift between being seen and not seen. In one video, the Phantom fought 5 Void Horde soldiers alone. She moved like she knew what they would do before they did it. "How does a human know our enemy's fighting style so well?" Lyra asked. "And how does she have technology that looks like ours but different?" Captain Nera shook her head. "We don't know, Your Highness. That's why the Council sent you to make contact." Lyra walked away from the window. At 7 feet tall, she towered over her captain. All Stellarians were tall compared to humans, but there was something else bothering her about this mission. "Captain, do you remember when I was young? Did we ever visit Earth before?" Nera looked uncomfortable. "The records show no official contact with Earth before the Void Horde attacks began 3 years ago." "I know what the records say," Lyra said, "but I have these memories. A human girl with red hair and freckles, playing in a garden with strange green plants, a yellow sun that was too bright. Your Highness, you know what the doctors said. Those were just dreams from your education programs. The Council would never have allowed a princess to play with humans." Lyra nodded, but she didn't believe it. The memories felt too real. The girl had a name. Samantha? They had built forts out of pillows and blankets. They had a secret code word. Starlight. Lyra went to her private room and locked the door. She touched the wall, and a hidden panel opened. Inside was a small, flat stone with strange marks on it. The doctors had never found this. She had kept it hidden for 20 years. The stone didn't look special, but Lyra knew it wasn't from her world. It was from Earth. A gift from her friend, a friend she had been told wasn't real. "Your Highness?" Nera's voice came through the door. "The Council wishes to speak with you before we land." Lyra put the stone back in its hiding place. "I'll be right there." In the communication room, the faces of 5 old Stellarians appeared. On large screens, they were the High Council, the rulers of the Stellarian Empire. "Princess Lyra," said Matriarch Vesa, the oldest and most powerful, "your mission is very clear. Find this human warrior and learn how she defeats the Void Horde. Bring her back to Stellara if possible." "And if she won't come?" Lyra asked. "Then, learn her secrets and return alone," said another council member. "Earth must not know our real interest in them. Tell them we offer an alliance against our common enemy." "But isn't that true?" Lyra asked. "We do want an alliance?" The council members looked at each other. "Of course," Vesa said finally. "But humans are primitive and emotional. They might misunderstand our methods. You must be careful with what you tell them." Lyra felt uneasy. The council was hiding something. "Is there anything else I should know about humans? About Earth?" "You've studied all the reports," Vesa said quickly. "Humans are shorter than us, weaker, but they breed quickly and adapt well. They are divided into many groups and fight among themselves, but they have united against the Void Horde. Have we ever had contact with them before now?" Lyra asked directly. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Vesa's eyes narrowed. "Why do you ask this?" "Just being thorough," Lyra said, trying to sound casual. "No," Vesa said firmly. "This is first contact. Remember your training and do not let the humans know too much about our technology or our weaknesses." After the council ended the call, Lyra returned to the window. Earth was much bigger now. She could see the blue oceans and white clouds. Something about it felt like home. even though she had never been there. Or had she? The ship's alert system suddenly sounded. Captain Nira rushed in. "Your Highness, our sensors have detected Void Horde ships hiding behind Earth's moon. They must have followed us." "Battle stations," Lyra ordered. "Protect the diplomatic shuttle at all costs." As the crew prepared for battle, 3 Void Horde ships appeared. They were dark, spiky vessels that seemed to drink in light rather than reflect it. They immediately fired on the Celestial Whisper. "Shields holding," reported Nira. "But we can't fight and make diplomatic contact at the same time." Just as Lyra was about to order a retreat, new ships appeared. Earth ships. They were smaller and less advanced than Stellarian vessels, but they moved with surprising speed, and leading them was a small one-person craft that darted between the Void Horde ships, drawing their fire. "It's her," Nira whispered. "The Phantom." The screen. They watched as the small craft somehow disrupted the Void Horde shields. The Earth ships then fired on the vulnerable spots. Within minutes, the enemy ships were retreating. "They're hailing us," said the communication officer. A human woman's face appeared on the screen. She wore a uniform with many badges. "This is Admiral Morrison of Earth Defense Force. Stellarian vessel, you are cleared to approach Earth. We will escort you." "Thank you, Admiral," Lyra said. "I am Princess Lyra of the Stellarian Empire. We come in peace to discuss an alliance against our common enemy." "We welcome you, Princess," the Admiral said. "We have prepared for your arrival. The Phantom will personally ensure your safety during your stay." The screen changed to show the small craft that had led the defense. For a moment, the pilot's face was visible, a woman with short red hair. Then the image broke up. "Sorry about that," Admiral Morrison said when her face returned. "The Phantom's identity is classified. For security reasons, you understand." "Of course," Lyra said, but her heart was racing. In that brief moment, she had seen something familiar. A pattern of freckles across the woman's nose, like stars in a constellation, like the face in her forbidden memories. As the Celestial Whisper followed the Earth ships toward the planet, Lyra made a silent promise. No matter what the Council wanted, she would find the truth. About the Phantom, about her memories, and about why the High Council wanted her to believe that her childhood friend had never existed. The landing area was filled with humans. They stood behind barriers, pointing and staring as Princess Lyra walked down the ramp from her shuttle. 5 of her royal guards walked with her, their tall bodies making the humans look small and fragile. Cameras flashed. People whispered. Some looked afraid. Others looked excited. Lyra had studied humans, but seeing so many at once was overwhelming. Their faces showed emotions so clearly. Their bodies moved in strange ways. And they were so loud. "Princess Lyra," said a woman in a dark blue uniform. "I am Admiral Kate Morrison. Welcome to Earth." Lyra bent her head in the Stellarian greeting. "Thank you for your welcome, Admiral, and for your help against the Void Horde ships. We're glad." "To assist," said the Admiral. "Now let me introduce your security detail while you're on Earth." A group of humans in matching black uniforms stepped forward. At their front was a woman of medium height. She wore a thin device around her head that made her face slightly blurry, like looking through water. It was hard to focus on her features. "This is Commander Olivia Brooks," said the Admiral. "She will be in charge of your safety during your visit." The commander bowed stiffly. "Your Highness, my team and I will make sure your stay is peaceful." Lyra studied the woman. There was something odd about her. Not just the face-blurring device, which the Admiral explained was standard for high-security personnel. It was the way she stood, the way she held her head slightly tilted when listening. It was familiar somehow. "Commander Brooks has the highest security clearance," the Admiral continued. "She also has special knowledge of your people." "How is that possible?" asked Captain Nira sharply. "We have had no official contact with humans before now." The Admiral smiled tightly. "Commander Brooks has studied the Void Horde extensively. Since they use corrupted versions of your technology, she has become somewhat of an expert on Stellarian systems as well." Lyra saw the commander's hands tighten at her sides. She was uncomfortable with this explanation. It was not the full truth. I look forward to learning how the commander gained such knowledge, Lyra said. They moved to a line of large black vehicles. Humans with weapons stood all around them. Lyra noticed Commander Brooks constantly scanning the area, her body tense like a spring ready to release. Inside the vehicle, Lyra sat across from the commander. "Will I meet the Phantom during my stay?" she asked directly. The commander's blurry face turned toward her. "That's not part of the scheduled meetings, Your Highness. But surely Earth's greatest warrior against the Void Horde would be part of alliance talks? The Phantom operates independently," said Commander Brooks. Her voice was carefully neutral. "Even I don't have direct contact with her." Lyra leaned forward. "Commander, Suddenly Brooks held up her hand. Her head turned sharply toward the window. "Driver, increase speed," she ordered. "What's wrong?" asked Lyra. "We're being followed," Brooks said. She touched her ear. "All units. We have 3 black vehicles closing in. No Earth defense markings. Possible hostile intent." The vehicles sped up. Lyra felt her body press back into the seat. Outside, she could see other cars moving out of their way quickly. "Could it be your people?" Brooks asked. "A faction that doesn't want this alliance?" Before Lyra could answer, a loud boom shook their vehicle. Looking back, she saw one of the cars in their group was now burning. People ran screaming from the street. "Attack!" shouted Brooks. "Protect the princess." Everything happened very fast after that. Their car swerved to the side of the road. Brooks pushed Lyra down onto the floor. Outside, Lyra heard the sound of weapons firing. "Stay down," Brooks ordered. She pulled out a small gun that glowed with blue light. "This is a Stellarian weapon," Lyra said in shock. "How do you have this?" Brooks ignored the question. "We need to move you to safety. When I say run, follow me to that building." She pointed to a large stone structure across the street. More explosions rocked the area. Through the window, Lyra could see strange figures moving between the cars. They weren't human. Their bodies were wrong. Too many joints, skin that shifted color like oil on water. "Void Horde infiltrators," Lyra whispered. "They've disguised themselves to look human. But the disguise is failing." "On my mark," Brooks said. 3, 2, 1, run." They burst from the car and ran toward the building. Guards formed a circle around Lyra. Weapons fired. 2 guards fell. Brooks shot 3 infiltrators with perfect accuracy. They dissolved into black smoke. "How did you know where to hit them?" Lyra asked as they reached the building. "Even our soldiers have trouble finding their weak spots." Brooks didn't answer. She was moving with impossible speed, anticipating the infiltrators' positions before they appeared. It wasn't just skill. She knew their tactics. As they ran down a hallway, an infiltrator dropped from the ceiling directly in front of them. Before anyone could react, Brooks moved. She ducked under its first strike, a move that seemed to surprise even the infiltrator. Then she fired her weapon at a specific point under its arm. The creature screamed and fell. "Only Stellarian Special Forces know that weakness," Lyra said. "It's not in any public record." In the chaos, something happened to Brooks's face-blurring device. It flickered, and for just a moment Lyra saw her clearly. Red hair cut short, green eyes, and across her nose, a pattern of freckles that Lyra had seen in her dreams for 20 years. "Sam," Lyra whispered. Brooks's eyes widened in shock. Then her face blurred again as the device stabilized. "We need to keep moving," she said, her voice tight. More infiltrators were coming down the hall. Brooks pulled something from her pocket, a small silver disc with strange markings. Lyra gasped. It was Stellarian phase shift technology. Technology that had never been shared with humans. "How?" Lyra started to ask. Brooks pressed the disc. A ripple of energy spread out from it, freezing the infiltrators in place. "This way," she said, pulling Lyra down a side corridor. The other guards followed, looking just as confused as Lyra felt. They reached a secure room deep in the building. Admiral Morrison was already there, looking worried. "Report," she demanded. "Void." "Horde infiltrators," Brooks said. "At least 12. They knew our route. This was planned." "Impossible," said Captain Nira. "No one knew the route except people from both our worlds," Admiral Morrison finished. She looked at Lyra. "Someone doesn't want this alliance to happen." Lyra barely heard her. She was staring at Commander Brooks, who was carefully avoiding her gaze. It couldn't be. It couldn't possibly be her. Sam was a memory, a dream. The Council said she never existed, but the freckles, the way she moved, the knowledge of Stellarayan technology and Void Horde weaknesses, it all pointed to one impossible truth. "We need to move the princess to a secure location until we can determine who leaked our plans," Admiral Morrison was saying. Brooks nodded. "I know a place, off the grid, not even in Earth defense records." "Can it be trusted?" asked Nira. "I trust Commander Brooks with my life," said Admiral Morrison firmly. As they prepared to move again, Brooks stepped away to check the corridor. Lyra followed her. "Commander," she said quietly, "that technology you used, it's called phase shift. It's one of our most guarded secrets." Brooks kept her back to Lyra. "I've collected a lot of Void Horde tech, reverse engineered it." "That wasn't Void Horde tech," Lyra pressed. "That was pure Stellarayan design. From 20 years ago." Brooks turned slightly. Through the blur of the face device, Lyra could see her swallow hard. "We need to move, Your Highness. When we're safe," Lyra said. "We need to talk. About stars." Brooks froze. "Stars?" "Yes," said Lyra. "And about a name. Starlight." The commander's hands trembled slightly. Without another word, she turned and led the way out of the room. Behind them, Captain Nira watched with suspicious eyes. 2 days later, Lyra sat in her room at the Earth Defense Headquarters. The building was heavily guarded after the attack. No one could come in or out without passing through 3 security checkpoints. Lyra should have felt safe. Instead, she felt like a prisoner. Captain Nira entered the room with a worried face. "Your Highness, the Council wants another update. They're getting impatient. We've been here for days and haven't made progress on the Alliance or learned anything about the Phantom," Lyra sighed. "Tell them we're still dealing with security concerns after the attack." "They won't like that answer," Nira warned. Matriarch Vesa asked specifically about Commander Brooks. She wants to know why a human has Stellarayan technology. "What did you tell her?" Lyra asked sharply. "Nothing yet. I wanted to speak with you first." Nira hesitated. "Your Highness, I've served your family for 30 years. I was there when you were born. If there's something you want to tell me." Lyra walked to the window. Outside, she could see the strange Earth city with its boxy buildings and busy streets. "Do you remember when I was 7 years old? Did I disappear for a few months?" Nira was quiet for so long that Lyra turned to look at her. The captain's face was pale. "You were sent to an education center," Nira said finally, "for special training." "Was it on Earth?" Nira looked down. "I am not permitted to say." "That's not a no." Lyra walked to her private bag and took out the small stone. She showed it to Nira. "This is from Earth. I've kept it hidden for 20 years. It was a gift from a human girl named Samantha." Nira's eyes widened. "Your Highness, please put that away. If anyone knew you had it—" "So it is real," Lyra whispered. "My memories are real." A soft beep came from the table. Lyra looked down and saw a message on her communication pad. It simply read, "Observatory midnight, come alone." There was no name, but Lyra knew who it was from. She quickly deleted the message before Nira could see it. "Captain, I'm tired. Please tell the Council I'll speak with them tomorrow." After Nira left, Lyra waited. Hours passed. At night, when the guard changed, Lyra slipped out through a service door she had found earlier. Commander Brooks had disappeared after taking them to headquarters. No one would tell Lyra where she was. The observatory was an old building on a hill outside the city. It looked abandoned, with parts of its roof missing. Lyra had to walk the last mile after her driver dropped her off at a nearby park. She wore a cloak with a hood to hide her silver skin and tall height. Inside the observatory, everything was dark and dusty. Moonlight came through the broken dome roof. In the center stood a massive telescope pointed at the stars. "You shouldn't have come alone, Starlight." Lyra turned quickly. A figure stepped from the shadows. It wasn't Commander Brooks in her Earth defense uniform. It was the Phantom wearing the strange armor that shifted between shadow and light. But she knew that voice. "Sam?" Lyra whispered. The figure reached up and pressed something on her helmet. It folded away, revealing the face Lyra had seen in her dreams and memories. Samantha Harper, now grown into a woman, but with the same bright green eyes and constellation of freckles. "It's been a long time," Sam said. Lyra's legs felt weak. "They told me you weren't real, that my memories were just dreams." "They lied. To both of us," Sam said. She walked closer. "They told my family that your people had never been here, that we imagined the whole thing." "But why?" Lyra asked. "Why lie?" Sam sighed. "Politics, fear, the usual reasons powerful people do terrible things." She gestured to the telescope. "Remember how we used to sneak out to look at the stars? You would point out your home system. And you couldn't see it," Lyra said, smiling at the memory. "Your human eyes couldn't see that far, even with the telescope. So, you drew it for me." Sam pulled something from a pocket in her armor. It was an old, faded drawing of stars, done in a child's hand. "I kept this all these years." Lyra touched the drawing gently. "Sam, how did you become the Phantom? How do you have our technology?" Sam put her helmet back on and walked to a control panel. She pressed some buttons and the floor opened up. "A hidden elevator. I'll show you." They went down into a secret room under the observatory. Inside was a mix of Earth and Stellarian technology. Screens showed maps of stars and planets. Pieces of armor and weapons lined the walls. "After your people left, my family was relocated," Sam explained. "Government agents watched us for years. They took all evidence of your visit, but they couldn't take my memories." She touched a screen and it showed a younger Sam in a military uniform. "I joined Earth's defense forces as soon as I could, worked my way into intelligence, and then I found files, classified files about the secret alliance between our worlds 20 years ago." "Alliance?" Lyra asked in shock. "There was an official contact?" "For 3 years," Sam confirmed. "Your father, the Emperor, thought humans and Stellarians could work together. A small group of families, including mine, were part of a cultural exchange program." Sam showed more images. Human and Stellarian children playing together, adults in meetings, ships from both worlds. "Then something happened," Sam continued. "We never knew exactly what. Suddenly all the Stellarians were gone. All records were erased. Our families were separated and sworn to secrecy." "But why are you the Phantom?" Lyra asked. "Why are you fighting the Void Horde?" Sam's face hardened. 3 years ago, when the first attacks came, I recognized their ships. They were similar to something you had shown me as a child, old Stellarian war vessels that had been retired." "That's impossible," Lyra said. "The Void Horde are an ancient enemy from the far reaches of space. They've attacked many worlds." "That's what your council wants everyone to believe," Sam said. "But I've been gathering evidence." She touched the screen. Again, it showed debris from Void Horde ships with Stellarian writing on them. "They're not ancient enemies. They're a faction of your own military-industrial complex." Lyra stepped back. "No, that can't be true. They're testing weapons on what they consider primitive worlds like Earth, creating a fake enemy to justify military expansion." Sam's voice was bitter. "Your father opposed this. That's why the alliance was ended. That's why the council took over after his accident." Lyra felt sick. "My father's death wasn't an accident?" "I don't have proof of that," Sam admitted. "But the timing is suspicious." Lyra's mind was spinning. "How did you become the Phantom? How do you have our technology?" "When I realized what was happening, I couldn't just sit by and watch," Sam said. I collected pieces of Stellarian technology left behind years ago, combined it with Earth tech, created this. She gestured to her armor. I became the Phantom because I needed to work outside official channels. Some in Earth's government wanted to surrender to the Void Horde. Others wanted to blame all Stellarians. Sam walked to Lyra and took her hands. They felt small and warm in Lyra's larger, cooler ones. I knew not all your people could be behind this, Sam said. I remembered you, Lyra. I remembered your kindness, your sense of justice. Lyra squeezed Sam's hands gently. The council said they sent me to find the Phantom because you were defeating the Void Horde when our soldiers couldn't. But now I wonder if they sent me because they discovered who you really are. They might suspect, Sam agreed. But they don't know for sure. If they did, they would have sent assassins, not a diplomatic mission. How have you been so successful against them? Lyra asked. Sam smiled. Remember how we used to play war games as kids? You taught me all about Stellarian battle tactics. You didn't realize it, but you were teaching me exactly how to fight them. Sudden beeping came from one of the screens. Sam rushed over. Security alert, someone followed you. On the screen, they could see figures approaching the observatory. Tall figures with weapons. My guards, Lyra said. Captain Nira must have tracked me. We need to go, Sam said urgently. If they find this place, I can talk to them, Lyra insisted. Nira is loyal to me, not the council. Sam shook her head. We can't risk it. She touched her armor and it began to fold around her face again. Meet me tomorrow at the peace conference. Trust no one from your delegation except Nira, and only if you're absolutely sure of her. As the Phantom now, Sam moved toward a hidden door. They've been lying to both our peoples, Lyra. The Void Horde, the Alliance, your father's death, it's all connected. Tomorrow I'll bring proof. She paused at the door. I never forgot you. All these years, fighting in shadows, I held on to the memory of the summer we spent together. It kept me going. Sam, Lyra said. Be careful. The Phantom nodded. You too, Starlight. Then she was gone, vanishing into the darkness. The next morning, Lyra stood in her quarters staring at her reflection. The formal royal armor felt heavy on her shoulders, not just from its weight, but from the weight of everything she had learned. If Sam was telling the truth, then the Stellarian Council, the leaders she had trusted her whole life, were behind the Void Horde attacks. They had created a fake enemy to test weapons on innocent worlds. They may have even killed her father. There was a knock at the door. Captain Nira entered, looking tired. Your Highness, where did you go last night? The guards reported you missing for 3 hours. I needed to clear my head, Lyra said. This world is overwhelming. Nira didn't look convinced. The peace conference begins in 1 hour. The council has sent Matriarch Vesa herself to join our delegation. Lyra's heart skipped. Vesa is here? When did she arrive? Her ship docked. Early this morning. She says she's here to support you, but she's really here to watch me, Lyra finished. She studied Nira's face carefully. Captain, we've known each other my whole life. My father trusted you. Can I trust you too? Nira looked troubled. Your Highness, my loyalty is to the royal family, not the council, but I fear you're walking a dangerous path. You know something, Lyra said, about the past, about Earth. Nira glanced at the door to make sure it was closed. Your father believed in peace between worlds. The council does not share that belief, that's all I can say. It wasn't much, but it was enough to convince Lyra that Nira was on her side. Thank you, Captain. At the conference today, stay close to me no matter what happens. The peace conference was held in a large building with many flags outside. Human leaders from around the world had gathered to meet the Stellarian delegation. As Lyra entered the main hall, all eyes turned to her. She was used to attention, but this felt different. These weren't her people. They didn't automatically trust her because of her royal blood. Matriarch Vesa was already seated at the large, round table. She was the oldest member of the council, with pale silver skin that had faded almost to white. Her eyes were sharp as they followed Lyra across the room. "Princess," Vesa said with a cold smile. "I'm glad to see you safe after the unfortunate attack." The council was concerned. "I'm sure they were," Lyra said, taking her seat. "Though I wonder why you traveled all this way just for a preliminary conference." "The future of our empire could be decided here," Vesa replied. "The council felt it needed direct representation." Admiral Morrison entered with her staff. Commander C. Brooks was not among them. Instead, a group of security personnel in full armor surrounded the admiral. Lyra wondered if one of them was Sam. "Before we begin," Admiral Morrison said once everyone was seated, "I want to address the attack on Princess Lyra's convoy. Our investigation shows that the attackers used advanced technology to disguise themselves as humans, technology that should not exist on Earth." "Are you accusing us of the attack?" Vesa asked sharply. "Not at all," Morrison said. "I'm suggesting that neither of our worlds is responsible. There may be a third party working to prevent this alliance." Lyra caught the Admiral's eye. She knew, or at least she suspected the truth. Wise observation," Vesa said smoothly. "All the more reason to formalize our alliance quickly. The Stellarian Empire offers Earth our protection against the Void Horde in exchange for certain concessions." "What concessions?" asked a human leader. Vesa smiled. "Nothing unreasonable. Access to Earth's resources. Permission to establish military bases on your world and its moon. A unified command structure, under Stellarian leadership, of course." And, human leaders began to murmur among themselves. Even Lyra was shocked by Vesa's demands. "Matriarch," she said. "These terms sound more like occupation than alliance." Vesa's eyes narrowed. "You forget yourself, Princess. You are here to observe, not to negotiate." "Actually," Admiral Morrison interrupted, "we were told Princess Lyra has full diplomatic authority." "There has been a misunderstanding," Vesa said. "The princess is young and inexperienced. I have been sent to handle the actual negotiations." Lyra felt anger rising in her chest. "I am the daughter of Emperor Kelvar. My authority comes directly from the throne." "Your father is dead," Vesa said coldly. "The council rules now." A tense silence filled the room. Lyra looked around at the human leaders who were watching the conflict with growing concern. "Perhaps," Lyra said carefully, "we should take a short break before continuing." The delegates agreed and began to leave their seats. Vesa grabbed Lyra's arm. "You will return to the ship immediately," she hissed. "You have forgotten your place." "I know exactly what my place is," Lyra replied. "It's standing between you and another innocent world." Vesa's eyes widened. Then she smiled, a cold, terrible smile. "So you've been talking to the humans, learning things you shouldn't know." "I've learned enough to question everything you've ever told me," Lyra said. "Guards," Vesa called. 2 Stellarian soldiers approached. "Escort the princess back to my ship. She is unwell and needs rest." "I'm not going anywhere," Lyra said. "You have no choice." Vesa lifted her hand, revealing a small device. She pressed it against Lyra's arm. Immediately, Lyra felt her body go rigid. She couldn't move or speak. Only her eyes remained under her control. "Neural trap," Vesa said softly. "Your childhood contamination was deeper than we thought. The human experiment was supposed to end when we left Earth. Your little friend should have been mind-wiped like the others." Lyra tried to scream, to move, but nothing happened. Vesa signaled the guards to take her. "What are you doing?" Captain Nira demanded, rushing over. "The princess has been affected by Earth's atmosphere," Vesa said. "It sometimes happens to young Stellarians. We need to get her to our medical facilities." "She seemed fine a moment ago," Nira said suspiciously. "It comes on suddenly," Vesa insisted. "Stand aside, Captain." Nira's hand moved to her weapon. "I serve the royal family, matriarch, not the council." Vesa sighed. "I was afraid of this." She nodded to one of her guards, who raised his weapon. Suddenly, all the lights in the building went out. In the darkness, Lyra heard sounds of struggle. When emergency lights came on seconds later, Vessa's guards were on the ground. Standing over them was the Phantom, her armor shifting between shadow and light. "Sorry to crash the party," she said. More figures entered the room, humans wearing modified armor similar to the Phantom's but less advanced. They surrounded Vessa and her remaining guards. Admiral Morrison walked calmly to Lyra's side. "Matriarch Vessa, you are being detained for acts of aggression against both our worlds." "This is an outrage," Vessa shouted. "You have no authority over me." The Phantom stepped forward. "Actually, we do." She pressed something on Vessa's neural trap device, and Lyra felt control return to her body. She gasped and almost fell, but Nira caught her. "Are you all right, Your Highness?" the captain asked. "I think so," Lyra said, rubbing her arm. She looked at the Phantom. "Your timing is excellent." "I've been watching," the Phantom said. She turned to Vessa. "We've known about your plans for years. We've just been waiting for proof that not all Stellarians support this aggression." Vessa laughed. "You think this changes anything? My ship carries enough firepower to level this city. The armada waiting in the outer system could turn your entire world to ash." "You mean this armada?" Admiral Morrison pressed a button on her wrist device. A large screen on the wall activated, showing space above Earth. Several Stellarian warships were visible, surrounded by smaller Earth ships. "While you were busy threatening us in person, we took control of your communication systems," Morrison explained. "Your ships have received no orders from you for the past hour." The Phantom removed her helmet, revealing Sam's face to everyone. Some of the human leaders gasped. "Commander Brooks?" one of them said in shock. "Not exactly," Sam replied. "That was just one of my identities." She looked at Vessa. "We've sent all Stellarian ships the evidence of what you've done. How you created the Void Horde to test weapons on primitive worlds. How you assassinated Emperor Kelvar when he discovered your plans." Vessa's face twisted with anger. "You have no proof of that." "Actually, we do," said a new voice. A tall Stellarian man entered the room. He wore the uniform of an Imperial Guard, but his insignia showed high rank. "General Theron," Nira whispered. "The Emperor's personal guard." Theron bowed to Lyra. "Your Highness, I have served the throne in secret since your father's death, gathering evidence, building a network of loyal soldiers." He handed her a data crystal. "This contains everything, the Council's secret meetings, their plans for Earth, and proof of their role in your father's death." Vessa lunged forward suddenly, grabbing a weapon from one of her fallen guards. She aimed it at Lyra, but Sam was faster. She fired her own weapon, hitting Vessa in the shoulder. The matriarch fell back, crying out in pain. "It's over, Vessa," Lyra said. "You and the Council will answer for what you've done." The human security team secured Vessa and her guards. Admiral Morrison turned to the human leaders, who had watched everything in stunned silence. "I apologize for the drama," she said, "but we needed you all to see the truth with your own eyes." Sam approached Lyra. "There's more you should know," she said quietly. She gestured to the Special Forces team that had entered with her. "These soldiers, they're like me, children of the original contact mission, raised in secret on Earth." Alarms blared throughout Earth's orbital station. Emergency lights flashed red, casting strange shadows across worried faces. Lyra ran down the corridor, followed closely by Sam and Captain Nira. "How bad is it?" Lyra asked as they reached the command center. Admiral Morrison looked up from a screen showing dozens of ships in Earth orbit. "Very bad. Half the Stellarian fleet has declared for you, Princess. The other half remains loyal to the Council. They're preparing to fire on each other." It had been 3 days since Vessa's arrest. 3 days of chaos as the news spread throughout the Stellarian Empire. Some captains immediately supported Lyra once they learned the truth about the Council and the Void Horde. Others refused to believe the evidence. "And the Council?" Lyra asked. "They've declared you a traitor," General Theron said grimly. "They claim you've been corrupted by humans and have ordered your execution." Sam pointed to a large ship on the screen. "That's Vessa's personal warship, the Void Crusher. It's charging weapons. They're going to attack Earth, Nira said. To eliminate all witnesses and evidence. Lyra squared her shoulders. Open a channel to all Stellarian ships. A technician nodded. Channel open, Your Highness. Lyra took a deep breath. This is Princess Lyra, daughter of Emperor Kelvar. I speak to all loyal citizens of the Stellarian Empire. The Council has betrayed our people and our highest laws. They created the Void Horde to test weapons on innocent worlds. They murdered my father when he discovered their plans. She paused, letting her words sink in. I have sent the evidence to every ship and colony in the Empire. See the truth with your own eyes. I do not ask you to follow me. I ask you to follow your conscience and the true laws of our people. On the screen, they could see ships changing positions. More were moving to Lyra's side, but many still remained with the Council forces. It's not enough, Morrison said quietly. They still outnumber us. Suddenly, a new alarm sounded. Energy surge from the Void Crusher, someone shouted. There, deploying a reality fracture weapon. What is that? Sam asked, her face pale. A doomsday device, Nira explained. It tears apart the fabric of space-time. It could destroy half this planet. Can we stop it? Morrison demanded. Theron shook his head. Once deployed, it takes exactly 8 minutes to build enough energy. Then nothing can stop it. Lyra looked at Sam. There must be a way, Sam thought, for a moment. The device has a physical core. If we could reach it and disable it manually, it would be suicide, Theron warned. The energy field would kill anyone who approached. Anyone fully human or fully Stellarian, Sam corrected. She touched the subtle markings on her skin that showed her mixed heritage. But someone like me might survive long enough. No, Lyra said firmly. It's too dangerous. Do we have a choice? Sam asked. Morrison studied the tactical display. If we launch a direct assault on the Void Crusher, we could create a distraction. A small team might slip through their defenses. I'll go with Sam, Lyra said. Everyone started objecting at once. Your Highness, it's too risky. The Empire needs you. You're not trained for combat. Lyra held up her hand for silence. I know more about the reality fracture technology than anyone here. My father made sure I understood the science behind our most dangerous weapons. And she looked at Sam. We work well together. Within minutes, they had a plan. Earth's ships, along with Lyra's loyal Stellarian vessels, would launch an all-out attack on the Council fleet. In the chaos, a small stealth shuttle would approach the Void Crusher. Lyra, Sam, and a team of hybrid soldiers would board the ship and find the weapon. As they prepared to leave, Nira approached Lyra. Your Highness, she said formally, then her voice softened. Lyra, your father would be proud of you today. Lyra touched the captain's shoulder. Thank you, Nira. If I don't return, you will return, Nira said firmly. And when you do, we will rebuild our empire as it should be. The stealth shuttle launched silently from the station's bay. Sam piloted it while Lyra studied diagrams of the Void Crusher. The weapon core will be here, she said, pointing to a section near the center of the ship. It's heavily guarded under normal circumstances, but with the battle raging, they might have diverted security, one of the hybrid soldiers suggested. As they approached the massive warship, they could see the space around it shimmering with strange energy. The reality fracture weapon was already affecting the area. 4 minutes until full power, Sam warned as they docked with an emergency airlock. They cut through the outer door and entered the ship. The corridors were eerily empty. Where is everyone? A soldier whispered. Battle stations, Lyra guessed. They're fighting the fleet. They moved quickly through the ship, following Lyra's directions. Twice they encountered guards, but the hybrid soldiers took them down silently. 2 minutes, Sam said, checking her device. They reached a massive door marked with danger symbols. Beyond it, they could hear a deep humming sound that made their teeth vibrate. The core chamber, Lyra said. She typed on the control panel, trying different codes. Can you open it? Sam asked anxiously. I'm trying the emergency override codes my father taught me, Lyra said. They change them regularly, but maybe. The door slid open with a hiss. Inside was a large room filled with complicated machinery. In the center floated a glowing orb of energy pulsing with light. 1 minute 30 seconds, Sam warned. They rushed inside. Lyra went straight to a control panel while Sam and the soldiers secured the room. I need to shut down the containment field first, Lyra explained as her fingers flew over the controls. Then we can... Princess Lyra, said a cold voice. I should have known you would try something foolish. From behind a large piece of equipment stepped Counselor Drez, Vessa's most loyal supporter. He held a large energy weapon pointed at Lyra. Step away from the controls, he ordered. The hybrid soldiers raised their weapons, but Drez laughed. Shoot me and you all die. This weapon is linked to the core. If I fall, it triggers immediately. You'll die too, Sam pointed out. For the glory of the true empire? Gladly. Drez's eyes gleamed with fanatical light. The council has guided our people for thousands of years. We will not be overthrown by a naive princess and her human pets. 1 minute, Sam whispered to Lyra. Lyra kept her voice calm. The council lied to our people, Drez. They created a fake enemy to justify their power. They killed my father. Your father was weak, Drez spat. He wanted peace with lesser species. The council sees the bigger picture. We test our weapons on primitive worlds so we can defend against real threats. There are no threats that justify what you've done, Lyra said. 45 seconds, Sam murmured. Lyra slowly moved away from the panel, trying to keep Drez's attention. Tell me, Counselor, if the Void Horde is so necessary, why hide the truth? Why not tell our people what you were doing? The common people don't understand hard choices, Drez said. They're soft like you. While Drez was focused on Lyra, Sam had been slowly moving to the side. Now she caught Lyra's eye and made a small gesture toward the ceiling. Lyra glanced up and saw pipes running above Drez's head. 30 seconds, Sam said aloud this time. Too late to stop it now, Drez gloated. Soon Earth will be torn apart, and all evidence of our little experiment will be gone. Sam looked at Lyra. A silent message passed between them, the same understanding they had shared as children building forts together. You know what, Drez? Lyra said. You're right about one thing. I am soft. She stepped forward, drawing his attention fully to her. I believe in peace. I believe in cooperation, just like my father. Your father was a fool, Drez sneered. No, Lyra said. He was a visionary, and so was she. Lyra pointed behind Drez. It was the oldest trick in the world, but Drez couldn't help looking over his shoulder. In that split second, Sam fired her weapon at the pipes above his head. They burst, releasing a cloud of freezing gas directly onto the counselor. He screamed and dropped his weapon. 20 seconds, one of the soldiers shouted. Lyra ran back to the control panel. I need to set up a containment failure sequence. It's the only way to stop the reaction safely. What can I do? Sam asked, rushing to her side. See that panel over there? When I give the signal, press the green and blue buttons at the same time. Sam moved to the other panel. Drez was struggling to get up, his body partially frozen. 2 soldiers held him down. 15 seconds, another soldier warned. Lyra's fingers flew over the controls. Almost there. Now, Sam. Sam pressed the buttons. The glowing orb in the center of the room pulsed brighter. Did it work? She asked. Not yet, Lyra said. We need to manually adjust the containment field. It has to collapse inward instead of outward. 10 seconds. There's a manual override, Lyra said, pointing to a control rod near the orb. But the radiation... I'll do it, Sam said. She moved toward the orb before Lyra could stop her. Sam, no, Lyra cried. Even your hybrid biology can't withstand that much exposure. 5 seconds. Sam reached the control rod. The energy from... The orb washed over her, making her skin glow. Tell me what to do, she gasped. Turn it counterclockwise 3 full turns, Lyra instructed. Sam gripped the rod. Her hands were already blistering from the energy, but she didn't let go. 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 seconds. Sam completed the 3rd turn with a cry of pain. The orb's pulsing changed rhythm. It's working, Lyra shouted. Get back, Sam!